What some may not be aware of is that German inventors are responsible for things that many of us couldn't live without, with some being so talented that many of them were brought to the United States to work on further projects. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at these 5 incredible German inventions. Did the Germans have any involvement with unidentified flying objects? There were several reports, fictional stories, comic books, and theories that claimed unidentified objects, known as UFOs, belonged to the Nazis. But over the years, evidence for these has been limited. The cigar-shaped flying object was first sighted towards the end of World War II by a group of airmen who were riding at night in a night fighter. According to the report, the flight was around the French-German border when Lieutenant Fred Ringwald saw some lights over the hills. Other lieutenants who were with Fred also noticed the orange lights. Thinking the lights were some form of weapons from enemies, Lieutenant Ed Schluter, who was the pilot of the flight that night, fired at the light and it vanished. That night marked the beginning of several sightings of the flying object. History has it that the sightings stopped immediately after the German soldiers were defeated. After World War II, several machines were found in secret underground bases in South America, Antarctica, and the United States, which were linked to Germany. The cigar-shaped wingless objects were likened to a rocket, which brought the assumption of Wernher von Braun having a hand in it because Wernher had earlier created the V-2 rocket. It's been suggested by some researchers that they even looked at unconventional means to achieve power. Whispers of an anti-gravity machine were spreading, and this machine was given the name of Die Glocke. This means the bell. The machine in question was described as being able to manipulate matter and even travel in time. World War II Germany was said to have worked on the project to increase their efforts in the war. Evidence for these claims are limited, however there are some that have come forward in regards to being contacted by people who were close to the project. An editor of a Polish magazine was contacted in 1997 in regards to a mysterious weapon the Germans were working on. He was given documents that allegedly detailed the craft they were working on and how they planned to use it. Post-war interviews with an SS officer caused confusion when he started talking about a top-secret weapon the Germans had been working on. He told the stories in order to keep himself alive. He told them about something they called the bell and that it was capable of vortex compression and magnetic field separation. The Polish editor even went on to release a book that was titled The Truth About the Wonder Weapon. However, it didn't gain much publicity and was overall ignored as it wasn't able to back up the claims. Walther Baade and supernova. Walther Baade, a German astronomer born on the 24th of March 1893, is one of the top innovators in Germany. Being a son of a teacher, a physicist and a mathematician, he would take inspiration from this and earn a PhD, and someone who turned the misery that World War II brought into an innovation. After finishing his education and achieving the rank of doctor at the University of Münster and University of Göttingen in Germany respectively, Baade moved to the United States of America and secured a job at an astronomical observatory in California, Mount Wilson Observatory. World War II had started at this time, and Baade decided to study the stars in the center of the Andromeda Galaxy. This was possible at that time because there was a blackout as a result of the ongoing war, and there was a reduction in light pollution. Walter's research made him realize that the stars have different groups. He also observed that there are 2 types of Cepheid variable stars. Together with a colleague from Switzerland, Walther identified a new category of astronomical objects called supernova. Supernova is believed to be the source of many of the elements of nature. The name coined by the 2 astronomers was first heard and seen on paper when Baade and his Swiss colleague, Fritz Zwicky, presented their idea at the American Physical Society meeting at Stanford University in the year 1931. There are 2 types of supernova. Type 1 is the one with no hydrogen, while Type 2 does have hydrogen. Fritz Zwicky later came up with 3 additional types of supernova, making it 5 types. Walther Baade passed away on the 25th of June, 1960. Wilhelm Bauer. Wilhelm Bauer, a native of Dillingen in Germany, was born by an armed, uniformed father who served as a sergeant in the Bavarian Cavalry Regiment. Bauer learned the act of wood-turning, but as a result of his love for his father's job, he later joined the army. Bauer didn't join the army as a field warrior, but as an artillery engineer. His main aim was to build submarines. His first shot at showcasing his skills presented itself during the German-Danish War. There was a situation in which the German Navy could attack the Danish on the Prussian coast, but the Danish mounted a blockade and denied the Germans access. Bauer saw that as an opportunity to create a submersible ship by joining the study of ship construction and hydraulics, but before he could finish the project, the Germans had already given up on what they were fighting the Danish for. This didn't down the morale of Bauer as he left Germany and joined Schleswig-Holstein forces. Bauer needed money to fund his idea, and it would not be easy at his new location because of his low rank. He later got help from a fellow innovator and electrical engineer. Bauer was given a small amount to build a submarine. After Bauer proved his worth with the success of the submarine, he was given a huge sum of money to build a better one. Bauer was in the process of building the submarine when the financial cost given was reduced. This affected the plan Bauer had for the submarine. At the end of testing, the submarine failed to deliver. Bauer tried to build a bigger submarine, but all his effort proved abortive. Although there were records that some of his submarines worked for a time, but they ended up being a disaster. Bauer's notable submarines are known as Brandtasche and the Sea Devil. Wernher von Braun. Wernher von Braun was born on the 23rd of March 1912 in the community of Versitz in the Posen province in Germany. He was the second of 3 children of a respectable Lutheran family. His first gift from his mother was a telescope, and he built up an enthusiasm for astronomy. While in his 20s and mid-30s, von Braun worked in Nazi Germany's rocket improvement program. He helped structure and build up the V-2 rocket during World War II. On the 20th of June 1945, the US Secretary of State affirmed the exchange of von Braun and his prose to the United States. In any case, this was not reported to people in general until the 1st of October 1945. Following the war, he was furtively moved to the United States, alongside 1,600 other German researchers, designers, and professionals as a major aspect of Operation Paperclip. He worked for the United States Army on a halfway range ballistic rocket program, and he built up the rockets that propelled the United States' first space satellite, Explorer 1. In 1960, von Braun was made the director of Marshall's Space Flight Center, a research center under NASA. Von Braun's expertise was involved in the making of Saturn V that propelled the Apollo spacecraft to the moon. He is referred to as the pioneer of rocket and space technology in the United States. As a result of this, von Braun was inducted into an American non-governmental organization tagged the National Academic of Engineering in 1967. 2 years before his death, which was in 1975, Wernher von Braun was honored with a National Medal of Service in America. Ralph Baer. Ralph Henry Baer was born on the 8th of March 1922. Baer's parents were Lotte and Leo Baer, a Jewish family living in Germany. According to history, Baer was initially named Rudolf Heinrich Baer. At age 14, he was removed from school as a result of his family line and needed to go to an all-Jewish school. His dad worked in a shoe industrial facility in Pirmasens at the time. Baer's family, dreading expanding mistreatment, fled Germany just before World War II and ended up in New York City in 1938. Baer served the American war exertion, increasing an enthusiasm for gadgets presently. He gathered enough experiences in the electronics industry and in the hardware business that he became an engineer at what is now known as BAE Systems. It was during this period he thought of creating games that can be played on television. This was around 1966. With help of his bosses, he worked through a few models until he landed at a brown box. That would later turn into the diagram for the principal home computer game console. authorized by Magnavox as the Magnavox Odyssey. Baer kept on structuring a few different consoles and PC game units. Baer kept working in hardware until his passing in 2014, with more than 150 licenses to his name. Baer, a German-American innovator, game designer and architect, is considered the father of video games because of his numerous commitments to games and starting the computer game industry in the latter half of the 20th century. But what do you make of these 5 incredible innovations? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.